So I know that the joke has been made, but I'm going to make it as well, because apparently Ohana means foster care.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey travelers, welcome back to Roberto's Room. So yes, I watched the 2025 remake of Lilo and Stitch, and I was initially gonna give this the Snow White treatment, but you know what? I'm gonna give this movie as much attention as it deserves, which is nothing, and just make a very basic review, because that is exactly the kind of energy that the creatives of this movie gave I'm telling you, I'm struggling with my words here because of how bad this movie was. That is how much energy and commitment that the creatives of this film chose to give in terms of respect to the original property that this film is based on. Because this film is hot garbage. This film is hot garbage. And again, like I've been doing, I've waited for the film to come out on Disney Plus because I wanted to have a little bit of time away from all of the initial backlash, give it a honest viewing, because I wanted to like it. I don't like to watch movies to hate them. I want to watch movies that I like. And especially with something like Lilo and Stitch that I personally grew up on, I'm taking it personally that they destroyed this film. I don't know what in the world Dean Fleischer Camp, the director of this movie, was thinking. Number one, I don't know what Disney was thinking. Well, I know what Disney was thinking.
We've got to have money.
Let's save money and let's make as much money as we can, because they're a heartless corporation, as we all know. And honestly, the fact that Chris Sanders is involved in this hurts me, because this is a character that he created, and to see it in this film that obviously does not care about the original, it's disheartening to me as a fan of the original film, which is a masterpiece. And I could go scene by scene. Again, I was going to make a Snow White type video, going scene by scene, comparing and contrasting the original to this one and why this new one doesn't work. But I'm not doing that, because this doesn't justify the amount of energy that it takes to make a video like that, because it's very clear that the creators of the movie didn't care. So I'm not going to care enough to dissect this movie, because I feel like you watching it, and if you've seen the original, you can dissect it on your own. But I did want to talk about it because, just like everything that Disney's been doing nowadays, the reason why I made the rebuilding Disney World videos is because it is very obvious that Disney doesn't care about anything except for filling up their wallets.
We've got to have money.
For the lowest amount of effort possible. And this movie is the epitome of that. Whereas Snow White just decided to slap the original in the face, this one decides to just drown it in a toilet, because you can tell that they don't care. They want to rush through elements. They leave out characters that were pivotal. They change things around in a way that makes no sense at all. And let's start from the very beginning. I'm going to just break down just a couple of scenes, because I don't want to give this movie more credit than it deserves, but I do want to focus on a couple of things about this movie. Before we get into it though, if you would, please drop a like down below and drop a comment. And as well, if you would, please subscribe. We would love to have you on board the channel so I can continue to make videos like this. We have a lot more videos down the pipeline, and I am so excited to share them with you. But every subscription, every like, every view helps the channel, so I'm glad to have you, and I'm glad that you're here. Well, without further ado,
Smile, everyone! We're back.
number one, the intro. The introduction of the original 2002 Lilo and Stitch is a masterpiece, because you set up the threat of Stitch at Experiment 626 as this creature that's unknown. You don't really know all that he's capable of when they bring him into that council room, but you can tell by the demeanor of everyone that is present, this is supposed to be this huge threat to the galaxy. And they bring him in, and of course he's this cute little alien.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die!
And of course you get the famous scene of him saying God knows what. Then you get to actually see him in action. The new film rushes through all of this. And without mentioning the atrocity that they committed when they redid Jumba for this film for a second. They just rush through the intro as if it doesn't matter. Like, we just got to get to Hawaii to do this movie. And it's obvious either they didn't have the budget to really flesh it out and give it time to breathe, because they just rush through plot point to get to Aloha, Hawaii, because it felt rushed. It felt like we were watching the original on 5 times the speed, and they just wanted to barrel through all of the setup of this film, which severely undercuts if you've not seen the original, which is, again, they're banking on you watching the original to have an emotional connection, because without the original to draw an emotional connection from, I guarantee you, you will not care about Experiment 626 when he lands in Hawaii. Because there's no setup, there's no time to get us interested in the character, and instead, again, we're rushing through plot points in order to get to where we want to get to. And that's the main problem with this film. It doesn't really care about the story. It's trying to make a movie on a budget. A movie about aliens on a budget. Which is why Gantu is nowhere to be found in this film. And that is one of the biggest problems of this film, is that Jumba, who no longer sounds like Jumba, but sounds like Zach Galifianakis, who's the actor that's playing him, because of course you can't do a Russian accent in a movie because you're going to sound racist, and people have problems with everything nowadays, and Disney of course is going to just bend over backwards for these people that have problems with everything, because a simple Russian accent you can't do in a film anymore. So you have this Jumba light that doesn't sound like Jumba, and you have Pleakley that comes in and it doesn't act like Pleakley, doesn't sound like Pleakley, and half of the movie that these two characters are hunting Stitch down, they're in human form, because of course we don't have the budget to make an actual Lilo and Stitch remake correctly. So they're completely different characters. Gantu is completely absent from this film. So Jumba is relegated to the villain role, and so there's no redeeming Jumba anymore in this, which again, why make a film if you're not going to follow what the old movie did? Or at least if you're gonna make some corrections. I always reference Jungle Book and Cinderella as the 2 remakes that actually worked, because the creative choices there, you could tell the people behind those movies actually cared. Rip Jon Favreau after Jungle Book. He just didn't care about Lion King, apparently. But that's a whole nother topic.
John!
Because it's very evident that, again, they were trying to make this movie on a budget. I remember hearing something about this movie original being for Disney Plus, which of course we gotta feed the machine that is Disney Plus. But people realized Lilo and Stitch is a big enough movie where we can put it in the theater and it's gonna make some money.
We've got to have...
No, cut the music.
So they, instead of retooling the film and making it more like the original, including Gantu, restoring Cobra Bubbles' role, we are left with this weird hodgepodge of a film that is Lilo and Stitch in name only, but in nothing else, with these characters that don't work. The only one that I feel actually works in this film is the young lady that they have playing Nani. Nani actually works really well in this film, in spite of the writing. And it's a testament to how good of a actress she actually is, that she is actually able to work with this and make it work and actually get us to feel for Nani. Lilo is insufferable in this film. I'm sorry, she is. And no, doesn't work. Of course, Stitch looks phenomenal. He is the focus point of this film. Chris Sanders, his voice still got it, but he should have directed this film and pushed Disney to make a better film, because the movie that this ends up being, the legacy that this is supposed to leave, following up that phenomenal 2002 film, it just falls short in so many ways. And it's sad, because unlike with Snow White, where you could tell that the purpose of the film was to completely do a 180 on everything about that movie, because those traditional values are a big no-no in today's world. This one, like I mentioned a little bit ago, is determined to make a shallow, hollow husk of a film, to make as much money as possible, waving cute Stitch in live action to us in our faces, while the movie around him, it's very clear that the people involved in making the movie didn't care. And I think, as I've mentioned with Snow White, as I've mentioned with anything having to do with Disney nowadays on this channel, we need to demand them to do better.
You've got to do better.
The other day I was watching a YouTuber react to Ratatouille and to Finding Nemo, and how fantastic those movies are. Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and what they're trying to sell us on nowadays are these shallow remakes. No one's gonna watch these. These are not the definitive versions by no stretch of the imagination. The Lion King is a glorified tech demo. It looks gorgeous, but it is horrendous. And this is just another one in that pile, that huge pile of absolute trash that Disney
Continues to give it.
I don't know where they got the money, because, well, I know where they've got the money, because this made $1 billion. How? Why are we settling for this trash? This is an open call, a plea, if you will, to everyone that watched this movie, that thought it was good. Honestly, watch the movie again on Disney Plus now that it's available for free. Well, not for free, but for the subscription. Watch it on Disney Plus. Then go and watch the 2002 version and tell me if this movie deserved to earn $1 billion. Because I guarantee you, if you do that, you will know that it's not worth $10,000. But yet,
you stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You're selling. Well,
this is more of an excuse for Disney. Oh, look, they responded well to Lilo and Stitch, so we're gonna make Tangled next. And it's never gonna stop, because
We've got to have.
and it's sad. It's very, very sad. But again, I know some people may like this film, and look, if you do, I really am not knocking anybody that liked this film. I really am not. I think that we should strive to force these companies that are making entertainment to make better entertainment. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking that, especially with the fact that this was a company that gave us the movies that I mentioned earlier, and so many more that are just golden, that showed effort. Even the ones that are imperfect, that are lacking in a lot of ways, you could still see the heart. I reviewed Black Cauldron, which most people thought was the worst movie in Disney history until the remakes. And that movie had so much heart and so much passion that I don't see in any one of the remakes outside of Cinderella and Jungle Book. But again, as an audience, we get what we demand. And I think we should demand more. But let me know what you thought about the atrocity known as Lilo and Stitch 2025 in the comments down below. Again, if you like it, I'm not knocking you, I really am not, but we need to demand better, and I feel like Disney is capable of a lot better if we ask for it. If you would, please also leave a like down below. And if you've watched this review to its entirety and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you on board the channel. We've got a lot of videos upcoming, and I'd love to have you on board for them. And if you do subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified every time that we drop a review on this channel. Thank you so much for watching, travelers, and as always, go with grace.